So definitely wanted to make sure that you guys can hear. Got on a little bit early, give myself time. Here we go. All right, you guys, good morning and welcome. You have tuned in to Sisters Heart, where we stream live at www.intellectualradio.com as well as iHeartRadio. We also do some Facebook Live. I'm your sister, I'm your girl, I'm your host, I'm Kim, and I'm in the studio this morning. And I'm telling you, right, I'm fired up and I'm just ready to go. It has been an amazing week. And when I say amazing, there's been so much that has happened. We're talking about some good stuff, some bad stuff, but at the end of the day, I was equipped to handle it. And we talked about that, you guys. Last week we talked about being equipped, maybe not necessarily ready, but definitely equipped to handle. So we just thank God for it. Thank goodness and thank God for my sister Wanda that is chiming in. She's a fighter, she's strong, and we have her uplifted in prayer. I'm coming, battling a cold. And note what I said. I said I'm battling a cold. I'm not giving into it. Drinking my vitamin C and trying to get much rest. And that's just across the board, right? Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody has some challenges that are before them. And that's leading us into today's thought. And the thought, remember I said this, and I say this all the time. I not only want for this word that the Lord gives me to not just resonate or to hit you, but I also want it to resonate within me. And guess what? It does. And it did. And I thank God for it because, we perish for a lack of knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. We tell our growing up, we heard it growing up, knowledge is power, knowledge is your keys. However, how many of us know that knowledge that is not applied is nothing? You can acquire all of the knowledge you want, all of the book smarts. You can attend whatever sessions, whatever conferences you want to go to. But if you don't ever take that information that you have acquired, that someone has poured into you, if you don't ever do anything with that information, then realistically, you're just stuffed. You all know I sell ISOT, and it's a detox tea. So you're just walking around here just full. In some cases, full of information, full of yourself, just full. And I'm getting that feedback. Okay. And I just want to look at it from a perspective that we've been empowered yet not emboldened, right? We've been empowered but yet not emboldened. And we know empowerment over the last few years. We've been overrun with the word empowerment. Overrun in such a way. A young lady that I had an opportunity to meet on Tuesday, she's 18, I believe, and she was just so watered down. Conferences, you hear the word empowerment. Social media, you hear the word empowerment. Social gatherings, you hear the word empowerment. And it's when you think of that word, right, it's a coalition to being women empowerment. So we've taken it and we've run, right? And don't get me wrong, I get it. People need to be empowered, empowered to change for the better, make better choices and decisions, empowered to live their best life. So I get it. And I'm not saying that we don't want to be empowered, but unfortunately, while we're running down, to be empowered, we're running from one conference to the next, and we're running down the key to being empowered. We're missing something. We're missing out of all of the conferences and the social medias and the social gatherings. We're forgetting that we need something more than just to be empowered. There's something that's eliminated from quote unquote the empowerment that's needed. See, you can feel empowered all you want and still be defeated, right? You can feel empowered. Go to an empowerment session, go to an empowerment conference. You walk out there, you feel empowered, you feel strong, you feel like, hey, I can do this, and then a week later, you're defeated, right? Or you can say, right, I got this. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to win. And then you're not necessarily implementing what needs to be done in order for you to win. So you're talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk. Have you ever met someone that all they do is the woulda, coulda, shouldas? Every time you turn around, I was going to do, or I could have done, or I should have done, or I would have done, or they just live in that bubble. And to me, that's a bubble of empowerment talk, right? It sounds empowering, but yet it's not emboldened. There's no actions behind what you say. And so I said, like you said, you can attend all the conferences, and I'm not speaking against conferences. I'm not speaking against that. So you can attend all the conferences you want, but what you do after the conferences, right? You can go from one conference to another, within a 50-mile radius, just to gather the information. You can pay good money to see good speakers, and to hear a very good word, right? But what do you do after you've been empowered? What do you do when you're there by yourself with all of your empowerment, right? Because you got that feeling, it feels good. What do you do after all of that? If you are not, so here's the word, if you are not emboldened, right? If you are not emboldened, you can have the feeling of empowerment, right? But it's not enough to keep you stirred up. It's not enough to help you to continue on. It's just not enough. It's like drinking, for us coffee drinkers. I'm going to tell on myself, right? I will not drink my coffee without sugar and cream. So being empowered is like having your coffee without sugar and cream, right? Some people still drink it, right? My son, he drinks his coffee black because he says that I'm a man. That's what men do. So you can still drink the coffee, but the sugar and the cream gives it that little oomph, right? So on a more serious note, we are celebrating Black History Month. Listen, my black doesn't go by a calendar. My black is 365, but nevertheless, we are celebrating Black History Month. So on a serious note, it's like the slaves when they were freed. They were freed, but some of them refused to leave the owner's plantation. They were empowered, right? They were given the authority, right? That's empowerment. They were giving the authority to do something, but they didn't feel emboldened, right? They didn't feel emboldened. Well, what is emboldened? It's the courage to do something. So while they felt like they could do it, right, with regards to the authority, you are now free. They didn't feel or have the courage, the boldness to do it. When we look at the word empowered, right, it's synonymous with words like permission, license, unyoked, right, unchained, to be set free, right? Those are words that are, and there's others, but those are words that are synonymous with being empowered. And like I said, we go to the conferences and we talk about being unyoked, right? Being unchained and being set free. And then we look at the word emboldened. And the word emboldened means, watch this, and there's other words, but it means to be brave, to invigorate, inflamed, to vitalize, to fortify, to stir, to stimulate. Look at this, hopeful, optimistic. Are you seeing yourself in this? Hopeful, optimistic. And this is the one I like, stiffen the resolve. Stiffen the resolve. What does it mean, stiffen the resolve? And why do you like that one more so than any of the other ones, right? Because it means to become more determined. To become more determined, because I can be empowered. I have the authority, right? I assist a manager, so I manage a office at a financial institution. So I have the authority, but am I resolved in that authority, determined in that authority to do the job, right? To be emboldened, right? To be emboldened means that I am determined to do the job. I am I'm brave, I'm bold, I'm stimulated, I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic in what it is that needs to get done. See, again, being empowered will get you to the fight, right? It'll get you to the fight, but being emboldened will keep you in the fight. Somebody needs to hear that, right? Being empowered, it'll get you there. It will get you there. Where you're trying to go, being empowered will get you there. But being emboldened is what will keep you there, right? Being bold enough to say, being stiffened in your resolve to say, I am determined to see this until the end. I am determined. I am brave enough to go forward, even if that means I got to go by myself. I am fortified in knowing that I will not fail, right? That's not being empowered, but that's being emboldened. And we need to have both of them. We need to have that level of balance, because that's what it is. It's that level of balance that helps you to not only get in the fight, but it helps you to stay in the fight. Am I speaking to some emboldened people on today? And I'm not speaking against anybody that's going to have a conference this year with regards to empowerment. Invite me, I might come. But what I am saying is that give people balance, because at the end of the day, when you're gone, right? You don't spoken to their flesh, got people all excited. Now what do we do? Now, for us that follow Sister Hart, this is a faith-based show, and I'm gonna definitely give you a word. I'm going to paraphrase it for the sake of time. I'm going to paraphrase it, but give you a word that helps you to see what it is that you need to see about being empowered and yet not emboldened. And it comes from First Samuel, and it's the 17th chapter. And again, I'm paraphrasing it, but there was a fighter, it was a giant, and his name was Goliath, and he had defiled the armies of Israel. He challenged them, right? He challenged them, folks, challenging you right now. He challenged the armies, to fight, for them to find one man, right, and to fight him. He challenged them. This is going to be a one-on-one. It's going to be a heads-up fight, right? He challenged them to find somebody. Let's fight. And if you win, this is what he was saying. If you win, if this man wins, then we will serve you. It's me and this person. And what struck me as interesting is it says, here's the word, that all of the people that were with King Saul, all of them were not only dismayed, but they were terrified. Now, how are you with authority? You're the king. How are you with authority and you're terrified? You're not emboldened. But this is what this says, right? This is what it says. So he was empowered, yet not emboldened. And I'm sure, watch this. At some point, they had a pep rally. They had got fired up. We finna go down here. I'm improvising. We finna go down here and we about to kick some butt. And we're gonna show them who we are, and we're gonna let them know. Don't come messing with us. You know what we do, right? We get ourselves all worked up. We have our little rallies, and we let out our little war cries. And before you know it, now we are faced with the battle, right? We're faced with the situation. And with all of that, nobody felt compelled enough. Nobody had the courage. Nobody had the boldness to go and to fight. But then here comes, little old me. Okay, maybe it's not me, but okay, maybe it's little old you. You're that one that's willing to go fight when don't nobody else want to go fight. Oh, okay, fine. It wasn't you. They weren't talking about you, but they were talking about little old David. Here comes little old David. He was emboldened. He was brave. He was courageous. He was hopeful. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it. It's not enough to only be empowered. Okay? It's not enough. It's not enough to just quote, not enough. You've got to have balance. Okay? You've got to have balance. And that balance is going to require you to be not only empowered, but to be emboldened. I'm sorry, not Joseph, but David was empowered by God. We know this. David was empowered by God. But watch this. But he was emboldened by his hope in God. Can I say that again? I'm going to say it slower. David was empowered by God. We know this. He was empowered by God. The prophet had put the oil on him. He was going to, he was not going to be, but he was the king. He was the God selected king of Israel. He was empowered by God. He was given authority to do something, but he was emboldened by his hope in God. And that's the balance, right? I can be empowered, but I've got to be emboldened. We can't just quote scriptures. It's not enough to say, Philippians 4 and 13, that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. That's being empowered, right? But here comes the emboldened part. Be like Nike and just do it. Right. I'm empowered because the word lets me know that I can do all things, but I'm emboldened because I'm just going to do it. Well, what are you going to do, Kim? I'm going to do what needs to be done. I'm going to do the tough job. I'm going to travel the road that's less traveled. I'm going to be willing to step out and step out. If I got to step out by myself, I'm going to be emboldened to just do it. Again, being empowered. When we look at the word, it says, greater is he. And this is when we're just quoting scriptures. Greater is he that is in me than he that's in the world. That's empowering, right? When you read that, that's empowering. It says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. There's nothing more. Hear it. It says, greater is he that is in me. He's in me. That's empowering. But here is when you become emboldened, right? This is when you become emboldened. And that was First John 4:4. But when we think about, I'm silly, right? The song that's out there is a popular one, and it's Smile and it's by Little Duval. And it says, I'm living my best life and I ain't going back and forth with you, right? That's emboldened. Right? That's a statement of boldness. I'm living my best life and I'm not going to go back and forth with you, because I'm not only empowered because the greater is inside of me, but I'm emboldened to tell you that I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with anybody with regards to my best life, right? Emboldened, this time around, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be different. My resolve is determined. I've got a dog in this fight. We all have a dog in the fight for us to win, right? You got to make sure you know where your dog is at. If you are fighting a fight where there's nothing in it for you to gain, you do not have a dog in that fight. But most of us, when we think about when we have a dog in that fight, we have something to lose. And it could be something as just as simple to most people as a peace of mind. Will sacrifice. I'd rather be with somebody than have a peace of mind. No. I have a dog in this fight. I got to have a peace of mind. So empowerment isn't overrated, right? It's necessary. Being empowered is still necessary. But you got to go from being empowered only to also being emboldened. King Saul was empowered. He was the king. He had the authority. However, he lacked courage. He wasn't emboldened. So as I finish up this thought today, right? Can I encourage you today? Can I encourage you, my sister? Can I encourage you, my brother? Can I encourage you, my friend, to be emboldened, to be bold, to not just quote scriptures and to not just read the book just to be reading the book, but know that when you are reading the book, this is the word of God, right? And when he tells you to be bold, he means it. He wants you to be bold. And what does boldness look like? Boldness looks like this. I may not be able to see the road, but I know it's there and I'm going to travel it. That's being bold. Boldness means they haven't yet given me all of the information, but I've been given the authority to do the job. So I'm going to do it in spite of what they haven't told. My daughter say, I'm not waiting on anybody. I'm not waiting on anybody to win. That's being bold. And then we have the word to back us up. We have the word to support us. Second Corinthians says, since we have such a hope, we are very bold. Such a hope. You can be very bold. You can be bold in your resolve. Proverbs 28 tells us the righteous are bold as a lion. Can you imagine a lion not exercising his authority? Can you imagine a lion not being bold in who he is, in what he knows? All a lion does is walk, right? You very seldomly see them running, and they're not built to do that. Look at that. That's a whole revelation in that by itself, Wanda. They're not really built to do that, right? I don't have to run to anything. I'll walk, I'll get there because I'm bold enough to know that when I get there, I got what's needed to handle the situation. Be bold in your resolve. Hebrews 13:6. Like I said, it's not just enough to say, I'm empowered, but you say this with confidence. The Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? That's boldness. When boldness speaks, you guys, it has a sound. Joshua told the people, he asked the question, have I not commanded you? Be strong and be courageous. The word courageous means to be bold. Courageous means to be bold, empowered yet not emboldened. No more. Empowered yet not emboldened. No more. Have both of them. Have both of them. Lean in to both of them. They're there for you. Empowerment and emboldenment. They're both there for you, right? It's here, right? You're here. And I like to say this, and I say this often at work, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So since I'm here for it, I might as well get it all. Since I'm here for it, I might as well get it all. And as I said, you may not have all of the answers, right? You may not have all of the answers. You have the right questions, but you don't have all of the answers. It's okay. Go forth anyway. Be emboldened to know that God is with you and you will not fail. That amazes me when people know that God is with them and yet they will not go. God has already worked that thing out for you. What you're waiting on is just a manifestation of his glory, but the way has been already made. God is not winging it. He wants you to be emboldened. You've already been empowered. You've already, from your mother's womb, he knew you. He knew what you were going to do. He knew who you were going to be, and he knew the mistakes that you were going to make. But you were already emboldened or already empowered. I'm sorry, I should say you were already empowered. You were already given the authority to do what God had called you to do. Now allow for that spirit of boldness to rise up in you. Allow it to rise up in you. Okay, you say, well, I don't have the education. I don't have all of the degrees. Guess what? You can still have what God say you can have. Because being emboldened isn't about what you don't have. Being emboldened is about what you do have. And not one point when you look at that word in the dictionary will you find degrees. You won't find that. You won't find the definition or the word money when you think about being emboldened. You won't find those words. You'll find hope. You'll find bravery. You'll find courage. You'll find strength, right? I read some of the words to you, right? That's where you'll find boldness, to be emboldened. So you may not have, those things that man say you should have, but do you have what God has already put inside of you? Are you willing to allow for that to be rose or brought out of you, to be emboldened? I'm going to leave this with you. Please don't play. Please don't play with it. I'm going to leave this thought with you. And I was sharing with Kelly. I tell you guys, everybody needs a Kelly Davis. Everybody needs a Kelly Davis, and everybody needs a Tanetta Wilson. Happy belated birthday, boo. Um, a year ago, this is a year ago, this word came into my spirit, emboldened, right? And it's not a word that's commonly used. And I was in a situation where a young lady attempted to attack me, right? Not just my character, but person, to physically put her hands on me. And in that moment in time, I felt, first of all, no fear, none, no fear. And I felt I felt as though I had already defeated her, even though I never got out of character. I didn't forth, I didn't raise my voice. My resolve was as such as I'm living my best life. And I'm not gonna go back and forth with you at all. That was my resolve. I stayed in that moment of boldness because it takes boldness to stand. Said it last week, having done all to stand, stand. It takes boldness to just stand. When you know that you have it in you to, quote unquote, we can say it, we can talk about it, to cuss them clean out. Right? When you know you have it in you, you ain't forgot those words that you used to use, and some of us are still using them. You haven't forgotten that. When you know that you have the ability in you because you used to like to fight, you know how to throw those paws, you know you have that in you, but yet it's still, there's something on the inside of you that won't allow you to do it, but you become bold. You still rise up. Your strength is shown. Your tenacity is shown. Who you are is shown. It's on display for all to see. I was emboldened. And my resolve became such that I will not be moved. I know you don't want me here, but I'm going to be here until God tells me otherwise. I was emboldened. So watch this. And I say this to say this, and we're going to end. Oftentimes we are faced with adversity. We are faced with difficult challenges and situations and things that are uncomfortable and things that may seem like they were designed to take us out or to cause us to retreat. Oftentimes God is putting us and allowing us to be in that situation. No, what I said, he's putting us and he's allowing us to be in that situation so we can become familiar with the word emboldened. So we can become familiar with what's inside of us. Boldness is not something I give you. I can't give you boldness. I can't. I can't give that to you. I can encourage you, right? But sometimes you can't encourage. You can't be encouraged. So the word says to take courage. Watch this, to take it. So I can't give you boldness. Boldness has to be stirred up from the inside out. It has to be stirred up on the inside of you. So God will allow us to find ourselves in situations where, yes, we are empowered, but we are not emboldened. And you'll be faced with a decision, a choice, right? What do I do? Do I act a fool or do I live out my best life? And I chose by way of something that was on the inside of me that I didn't even know was there. Because anybody know me, I don't argue. I throw hands. I'm just being honest. Facebook, I'm being honest. I don't argue. That's why I don't argue. I throw hands. Yeah, that's what they come on. Well, I could tell on Kim today. But I didn't do it. And I tell you, there was something that was brought out of me that I did not know was there. And I would have never known that it was there had not I been in that situation where, yes, I was empowered. But thanks be unto God, I was also emboldened. So don't be sleep on being bold. And don't be afraid to be bold. So often people, we cower back from being bold because we think that people are going to think we're trying to take over. No, get out of the way. You're not doing it. When David showed up, the army of Israel were there. They were there for the battle, for the battle. They were there for the fight, but yet nobody wanted to fight. So I'm not trying to take over, but I'm bold enough. I'm emboldened enough to know that if you won't do it, I can get it done. So move out of the way. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to feel some type of way about me. But if you won't do it, get out of the way and let me do it. If you won't handle the job, get out of the way and let me handle the job. Often, so many of us right now are on the cusp of our greatness, are on the cusp of being who God has called us to be. But because you are sitting back waiting for the ones that are already there, that are sitting at the table, they've been at the table for 17, 18, 19, 20 years, they ain't did nothing. I said ain't did. I'm talking just like that. They ain't did nothing with what God has put before them. And because you don't want to be perceived as someone that's taking over, you sitting back, coward, waiting for folks to die. Don't you wait for folks to die. Move them out of the way. And I'm not talking about in the literal sense. I'm talking about in the physical, the spiritual sense as well. Stop it. You do what God has called you to do. Be bold. Be bold. Be of courage. Be strong. Right? Don't worry about what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Because what you have is on the inside of you. It's not enough to be empowered. It's not enough, people. It's not enough. Too many of us walking around here right now, empowered, empowered, empowered. You know what they say? Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I'd rather be an Indian. I'd rather be an Indian than a chief any day of the week. Why you say that, Kim? Because the chief basically just points in a direction. The chief outlines the vision. But baby, it's the Indians, right? Right? It's the Indians. It's the ones, it's your soldiers, it's your foot soldiers that go in and get it done. I'm gonna be that emboldened person this year, 2019. I'm gonna be emboldened. I'm not just gonna be empowered, but I'm gonna be emboldened. I'm gonna be the one. Tell yourself today, I'm gonna be the one to get it done. All right, you guys, listen. This is my time. I'm in the studio. I'm in the studio with Wanda today. Hey, There you go. And we are just so just again just so thankful unto God. As I said, I'm battling a cold, but the cold don't even know. Don't play with me. I'm a fighter, and it is what it is. Got a couple of things going on this week, you guys. Today, as a matter of fact, but I'm gonna make my way through it, right? Because I'm emboldened. So don't let nothing stop you today. Don't even let a little cold stop you today. Oftentimes God just want us to see what it is that we're made of. He want us to see what it is that we're made of. Some of us made of chicken noodles, right? Chicken noodles, noodles are all soft and stuff. Some of us are like eggs before they are in the water and they boil. Some of us are just shells and you crack us open and there's nothing on the inside but some gooey stuff. But some of us have actually been put in the water and we've allowed for circumstances and situations to boil and to show us what we're made of after the fact. All right. So don't just be empowered in 2019, but be emboldened. I love you. That's my time. This is your host. This is your girl. This is your sister. This is our platform, you guys. Look for us to be doing some things this year with regards to women. Emboldened. Emboldened missions. Not just empowerment, but emboldened missions. We want our sisters, our brothers to be bold, our children to be bold. So I'm your girl, I'm your host, I'm your sister, I'm Kim B, live in the studio. This is www, home of www.intellectualradio.com via iHeartRadio as well as Facebook Live. If you like it, do me a favor, share it. Share it. It doesn't cost you anything. Share it. Let somebody else know that it's not enough to be empowered, but they got to be emboldened. Love you guys. Love you, sister. Love you, Cheryl. Hey, you guys. God bless. Yes, I'm ready to get up out of here.